The fire without fuel. High in the Himalayas, where snowflakes whispered ancient mantras and time seemed to pause in reverence, lived a wandering sannyāsī named Anantadāsa. He wore nothing but a thin cotton cloth and carried no possessions, no bowl, no staff, not even a blanket. The villagers who occasionally glimpsed him called him Agni-muni, the fire sage, because he radiated an inner warmth even in the bitter cold. Anantadāsa had once been a prosperous merchant in Ujjain, known for his success and generosity. But after the loss of his beloved wife to illness, he was plunged into sorrow. No wealth, no feast, no scripture could console him. One day he walked away from his mansion without a word, leaving behind his name, status, and belongings. He sought not escape but essence. In his wandering, he visited temples, forests, ashrams, and caves. In every place, he asked the same question of sages and hermits. What remains when everything is gone? Most gave him verses. Some gave him silence. None satisfied him. One winter evening, he reached the cave of the famed yogi, Māṇḍavya. The cave was barren, yet peaceful, no statues, no scriptures, only a fire burning steadily with no visible fuel. Anantadāsa bowed low and asked, "Master, what sustains the fire without wood?" Māṇḍavya looked at him and replied, "The same thing that sustains the true renunciate, tapas." Tapas, Anantadāsa repeated, "is that fasting, silence, meditation?" The old yogi smiled. Tapas is the burning away of illusion, not by force but by clarity. It is to know hunger and still feel full, to feel the cold and yet be warm, to lose all and still remain. That night, Anantadāsa sat outside the cave under a starlit sky, contemplating these words. He remembered how grief had gripped him years ago, how he tried to bury it beneath rituals and gold. But now, stripped of all identity, he could face the pain without fear. It did not disappear, but it lost its sting. The next morning, he returned to the yogi and said, "I understand. I do not need to light a fire to be warm. The fire is within." From then on, Anantadāsa wandered not in search, but in stillness. He would sit for days beside mountain passes, offering no teachings but his presence. When passers-by asked who he was, he replied only, "I am no one." When asked what he needed, he said, "I have what is." One day, a young prince named Aravardhana, fleeing court intrigue and poisoned politics, stumbled upon Anantadāsa in a glacial valley. The prince demanded advice, weapons, and a plan to reclaim his throne. Anantadāsa said nothing. He simply held out his hand, offering a stone, ordinary, gray, cold. "This," the prince sneered. Anantadāsa finally spoke, "This has no worth, yet the mountain is full of it, and still the mountain stands proud. Do not chase what burns, become what endures." Years later, that prince would return to rule his kingdom, not with ambition, but with compassion. He kept the stone in his crown room untouched by gold. Anantadāsa, meanwhile, was last seen walking into the upper snows. No one saw him again, but some say that during especially harsh winters, a lone figure sits by the path into Tibet, smiling as if warmed by a fire without fuel. Moral of the story. Sannyāsa, the stage of renunciation, is not escape but inner illumination. The true sage burns no incense, seeks no praise, clings to no form, yet glows with the light of wisdom that nothing can extinguish.